Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to your New York City crime news update for Friday, March 12th, 2021. I haven't done a crime video in a while, but Pine Power did a video a couple days ago. I figured I wanted to get my turn here in New York City. But in all reality, we have a couple building fires that the media just hasn't been bothering to cover because you know what the media's been obsessed with. I don't even need to talk about you know who here, because then it will get me more riled up. I want to focus on what's really going on. We have a real problem with crime once again, and people just don't want to acknowledge it that much. I mean, yes, the media did cover the awful incident that we're going to lead off with after we talk about the building fires and Bayside in Brooklyn that I need to talk about. In fact, hang on. I want to see if the media covered anything about Coney Island, because there was a fire that was talked about last week from a friend of mine. Okay, here we go. Man sets himself on fire in Bensonhurst. Yes, we'll get into that too, because that was a very disturbing incident that I had to find out about. Yes, so we'll get to this, but first, I want to get to this. So there was a fire in a commercial building in Bayside, which sent 2 firefighters to the hospital. So this looks like Bell Boulevard. Now, the reason why I can tell this looks like Bell Boulevard, this is clearly obvious that this is the bus stop for the Q13 and Q31. So let's see where in Bell Boulevard this happened. Right in the heart of downtown. Fire broke out into a multi-story commercial building in Bayside Tuesday afternoon on March 9th, sending 2 firefighters to the hospital. The FDNY got a call about the fire at 43-23 Bell Boulevard at 12:45 p.m. Firefighters arrived at the scene and got the flames under control in less than an hour later at 1:30. 2 firefighters were taken during the battle and were taken to a nearby hospital. Fire marshals were looking into the cause of the fire, of course. So, I don't want to get to the Bensonhurst thing. I want to find, this is the most disturbing thing. In Sheepshead Bay, a man died after lighting himself on fire in Sheepshead Bay. So, seriously, where's the media been? You know, I've been watching a lot of news the past couple of days. It's Friday, and they're all fascinated with, you know who in Albany. And again, I don't want to say, again, if I say his name, I'm gonna get riled up. And I don't need that during a crime video. So here we go. 46-year-old man died after setting himself on fire in his Sheepshead Bay backyard on March 9th. Cops responded to a 911 call to find a man fully ablaze in the rear yard of a house on Bedford Avenue near Avenue Y in an apparent act of self-immolation, according to a police source. Firefighters extinguished the flames shortly after arriving, after which medics pronounced the man dead. Eyewitnesses told cops they saw the man douse himself in an unknown liquid accelerant before setting himself on fire. Neighbors on the two-story row houses gathered to watch K-9 units inspect the scene. One resident on the block said they never noticed any domestic issues at the house of the deceased, and they had 3 beautiful dogs. The cause of the death remains under investigation. Then, what makes things worse, the mother of the deceased man, this was updated back on Wednesday, has been reported missing. So they're looking for a 77-year-old woman named Patricia Frenche, described as 5 feet 1 inch tall and 120 pounds. She lives in the Bedford Avenue home with her son. So, very awful. Very, very awful. I mean, this is what I mean with the media. You know, who lights themselves on fire like that? Come on. You know, there's so much crime that they could be covering, but they don't want to. All right? They love to fascinate with the guy in Albany. Then we have this. In Bushwick. This is literally on the Queens line. Middle Village is literally right over the borough line between Brooklyn and Queens over there. firefighter injured in 2-alarm blaze. A firefighter was injured while battling a blaze on Wednesday afternoon. Approximately 26 units arrived at 756 Bushwick Avenue at 1:48 p.m. on Wednesday, March 10th to find heavy smoke and fire escaping from the second floor of a 3-story attached brownstone. Fire department officials called for backup as the fire continued to rage, eventually extending to the 3rd floor. During the struggle, officials said a firefighter suffered a minor leg injury. He was transported to Wyckoff Heights Medical Center and is expected to make a full recovery. The injured firefighter was one of 106 who worked aggressively at the scene using 3 hose lines to knock down the inferno. The fire was placed under control by 3:15 and the building exterior was left enveloped in smoke stains. After extensive search of the building, they found that no residents were trapped. Firefighters could be observed tossing debris from the 2nd and 3rd floor. Okay. Through shattered window pipes for any reason. Alright, so I'll keep AM New York open, another tab for later. But, just disturbing that this is all happening. Where's the media when you need them, when they're supposed to be covering stuff like this? And then lastly, I want to get to this. Actually, no, this is not fire. I thought this was fire. When I clicked on it, I thought it was, set fire to 5 buildings in Astoria. I must have misread that earlier. Okay. We'll get to that. But that's disturbing to even read. See, there's so much crime that we have to go to. Oh, here we go. 4-alarm fire rips through 6 stories in Jackson Heights. And by the way, there have been so many car accidents happening lately. I just don't understand what's going on lately. That nobody seems to care about all these building fires that are happening. The media used to be all over this stuff. Now they aren't. 2 more I got. 4-alarm fire rips through 6 stories in Jackson Heights. Ferocious fire burns through a row of half a dozen stores in Jackson Heights for nearly 6 hours from late Thursday night until early Friday morning. The FDNY first got a call about the blaze at Prince Kebab Chinese restaurant at 37-56 74th Street on Thursday, March 4th. So this happened last week. Responding units arrived about 4 minutes later to find the fire quickly spreading throughout the entire restaurant. The fire then began to spread through 6 occupancies structurally connected to the eatery. The fire department then called in more units as the blaze was upgraded to a 4-alarm fire. 168 firefighters responded. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I bet the fire marshal's probably looking the cause of the investigation, most likely. And then we got this. Hang on, did I see something lately? Yeah, here we go. Another fire in Elmhurst. So let's read this one first. This most recent. Yep, this is today. They just posted this today. Alright. 2-alarm fire rips through Woodhaven building and injures 3. And by the way, a lot of these fires are happening in Queens. So, media bias towards my borough, it seems. According to the FDNY, this is a 2-alarm fire that left 3 people injured. It happened on March 3rd at 88-15 85th Street at 5 o'clock in the morning. Upon their arrival, firefighters found the blaze had broken out on the 2nd floor of the building. 25 units containing 106 firefighters responded to the scene. The fire was brought under control by 6:29 a.m. A fireman was seriously injured during the response, but is currently listed in stable condition. 2 civilians suffered minor injuries, and of course, cause of the fire is under investigation. So, I gotta say, ever since AM New York bought out these major outlets like the Brooklyn Paper and the Courier, I mean, they've been heavily involved in this stuff. I gotta give them credit, even though AM New York tries to aim for Manhattan, it seems. But let's get to the last one. I promise you this is the last fire story that I have. Because, again, It seems I have to do the job of the media. Two-alarm fire in East Elmhurst sends two to hospital. Two-alarm fire at a home in East Elmhurst sent two people to the hospital on Friday, March 12th. FDMI members received a 911 call about the inferno inside the two-story home at 26-3398 Street around 10:50 earlier this morning. So, mind you, this just happened today. Firefighters arrived to sign the fire, quickly making its way through the home and upgraded their response. They called 106 FDNY members around 11 o'clock in the morning. Right before noon, the blaze was under control. Sadly, I have to report, 5 people inside the home were hurt during the fire, though 3 refused medical attention. The other 2 people were taken to Booth Memorial Medical Center in Flushing. So again, I don't like calling it this new name. I'm sorry, but I used to work there when it was, what was it before Presbyterian? Wasn't it Queen something? I don't remember the name, but it's always going to be Booth Memorial Medical to me, because that's where it is, on Booth Memorial Avenue. Alright, the fire department could not comment on the status of the patients. Oh, it was New York Hospital Queens. Now I remember. But still, it should be called Booth Memorial Medical. I'm in agreement with my job coach on that. They even have I remember the last time I was there, 2014, my last day of work, I got to look at the plaque of when the hospital was first inaugurated. Alright, so before I get off topic, they are looking into the cause of the fire, so. A lot more news we're going to get to, believe me. We have a lot to get into, because the first thing I need to get into, and this is the most disturbing thing that could happen alone in 2021. You think you've seen a lot of crime get out of hand this year? Oh, you haven't seen this. 2 men were charged with murder after a teenager was found dead last weekend, wrapped in plastic in the abandoned Manhattan Fulton Fish Market. So, I will mention Channel 4 last weekend, they actually spent almost 3 minutes covering this. So, Channel 4 is more proactive on weekends. I noticed this a lot, because that's why I give up on 7 most cases on the weekends, because I notice 7 slacks off on weekends. They mostly spend too much time on politics. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, 2 men were charged with murder Sunday after a homeless teen was found dead wrapped inside the abandoned Manhattan Fulton Fish Market building in Lower Manhattan. Austin Baum and Christian Mercado, age 20, so Bynum is 25, were both hit with murder charges a day after they called 911 reporting the 19-year-old woman was dead on the 2nd floor of the building at 95 South Street in the South Street Seaport District. And sadly, in this area, I saw video of the police, of course. This is literally right by the Brooklyn Bridge. So I know this area very well. Police believe the victim, Rosalie Sanchez, was living as part of a homeless encampment staying in the fabled but now abandoned fish market. One of the arrested men is her boyfriend, and both are homeless. Cops responding to their Saturday morning 911 call found the 2 men in the building alone with the dead body. So yeah, here are the police looking at the building, and you could tell this building isn't in good shape. There were no obvious signs of trauma on the young woman, but cops canvassing the building found a fresh pool of blood in the adjacent room. The city medical examiner will conduct an autopsy to determine how Sanchez died. The 2 suspects have been uncooperative with police since they were taken into custody. So, I don't even know how disturbing this year has already gotten. The crime, the first 2 months has already been bad. This literally has to be the worst incident so far of this year. And we're only in March. And again, like I mentioned, We are really close to repeating the violent year of 1981. And, you know, people just gotta start waking up and realizing that this has become a real problem. Oh, look at this! A hit and run in Queens! Where did this happen? Ah, Boulevard of Death. Pedestrian was badly injured after being struck by a vehicle in Queens this afternoon. So this happened this afternoon? Yep, it happened early this afternoon. Just happened about 2 hours ago. The collision happened at 2:15 at Queens Boulevard and 84th Drive in Briarwood. EMS responded to the unidentified victim to Jamaica Hospital, where he was listed in critical condition. So, this literally just happened a few hours ago. Look at this. Yep. That's why it's called the Boulevard of Death. For a reason. Sad to say it that way. And look, this is actually on the actual lead off of the crime page. Yeah, so a lot of disturbing stuff that that's been going on. Let's see what I can look up here. Oh, okay, here's something important. And then I'll also pull up, I wanted to pull up this one. This is a disturbing one that happened on the N train in Brooklyn. Okay. See what we got here. I really hate these ads, and if I don't have the ads, then the Daily News is going to not let me read their articles. Speeding BMW driver drunkenly slams into 18-wheeler on Brooklyn Expressway and killing passenger in vehicle. Okay, speeding BMW driver drunkenly slammed into an 18-wheeler on a Brooklyn Expressway. So this happened on the Gowanus. It happened on Wednesday, March 10th. Mark Dukan was speeding on the Gowanus Expressway in a 2013 black 535i BMW vehicle when he rear-ended a white 2000 Freightliner approaching the 92nd Street exit in Bay Ridge around 11:20 p.m. So I unfortunately know this area too well. It's literally right by the Verrazano. Yikes. Both vehicles were in the center lane of the Staten Island bound side of the expressway. Yep, like I figured, right by the Verrazano. The BMW passenger, Dukan's 30-year-old friend Karen Diaz, died at the scene. The 46-year-old truck driver was not hurt. Medics took Dukan to Langone Hospital in Brooklyn and was charged later with DWI and refusing to take a breathalyzer test. Police said he has had a previous DWI conviction. And this guy has a rap sheet. Back on Monday, March 1st, he was charged in Brooklyn with assault, criminal mischief, and menacing. In that incident, he was driving through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel with a 21-year-old woman when they got into an argument. He allegedly punched her in the face and took her cell phone to prevent her from calling help. Both Dukan and Diaz are from Staten Island. Whoa. Okay. Let's see if the Brooklyn paper actually has something about this. About the story that we have. And what's the Daily News exclusive? Oh, hang on here. We actually do have a hit and run in Bay Ridge. Look at that. So, there you go. There you go. And then look, they have a lot of updated stuff in Brooklyn. And then look at this. 63rd Precinct got an unexpected delivery of a goat. Know why I know the 63rd Precinct very well? That's the precinct that serves Mill Basin. So, Yeah, there's something interesting. Oh, and then this was a serious one. In fact, News 12 Brooklyn covered this one. Let me read this. Brooklyn cops survive brush with death after gunman fires on them inside apartment. So, not just News 12 Brooklyn covered this. Channel 7 even covered this one, I think. Yeah, here we go. There was a video about this. Yeah. Two Brooklyn officers are lucky to be alive after a gunman shot them while they were responding to a shooting inside Prospect Lefferts Garden apartment on Sunday night, March 7th. One of the officers was grazed in the left leg by a bullet, while the other cop miraculously escaped injury when a fired shot struck part of his jacket and body cam, but somehow missed his body. So again, there is footage of this incident, and again, the media did a good job covering this, but due to the graphic nature, I'm not going to show it on this YouTube channel. Gunman who fired at cops was taken into custody following a brief standoff, law enforcement said on Monday morning. Charges against them are currently pending. So, here's what happened. Police sources said the trouble began at 9:10 p.m. on March 7th when officers were assigned to the 71st Precinct responded to the 911 call about a man shot inside of an apartment building on Hawthorne Street off Flatbush Avenue in Prospect Lefferts Gardens. Authorities said the unidentified 44-year-old gunman had allegedly shot his 45-year-old roommate in the leg for reasons that detectives had yet to determine. When the officers approached the second-floor apartment, the gunman began firing his weapon at them. The suspect then locked himself inside the apartment with the victim and an unidentified woman who was not injured during the incident. The standoff with police, however, turned out to be brief. Within moments, according to WABC-TV, the suspect, who apparently to be emotionally disturbed, was taken into custody without further incident. So, again, this is what happens when you cut mental health resources in New York State. He was brought to a local hospital for psychiatric evaluation. The officers involved in the shooting were brought to Kings County Hospital and later released following evaluation and treatment. The initial shooting victim was also brought to Kings County Hospital for treatment of gunshot wounds to his legs. So, the shooting victim is listed in stable condition. Wow, so many assaults in Brooklyn. Yikes. I don't even want to read into this stuff. I mean, I'm more focused on my borough. So, we'll get to that. But I do want to read this. 72-year-old victim of Bay Ridge hit and run dies from injuries. This happened, oh yeah, we talked about this one, I think. Yeah, happened on February. Yeah, happened in February. Yeah, I remember this. So, that's sad. Alright, so this supposedly might be a Daily News exclusive from Brooklyn, but I'll read it, and then we'll take a look at AM New York to see if anything notable has been going on in Manhattan. There was blood everywhere. Teen victim recalls liquor bottle attacked by deranged Brooklyn strap hanger. A Queens teen's Coney Island getaway on a warm March day ended with a bloody assault. A bruised up assailant clocked the victim, Amberlynn Rehos, in the head with a heavy glass liquor bottle when she asked him to stop ogling her autistic sister on the N train in Brooklyn, with the attacker leaping between subway cars Wednesday to make his escape. So, awful, you know. This was a verbal argument that exploded into violence as the man charged at her just before 10 p.m. at the 36th Street station in Sunset Park. Okay. The man quickly pulled a champagne-shaped bottle of the Liquorette Conquop from a bag and bashed her in the head. The shocked victim saw her reflection in the subway window as blood poured from the fresh wound. So, they do have a picture of the suspect in question. I mean, I don't know how in the world, you know, You missed this story. Now, I understand it happened today, but maybe I'll likely see something tonight. Okay, let me see if we can get to AM New York. So we'll take a look at that. Yikes. Something in Queens I gotta read. Let's see if anything was recent here. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah, so this is from the Courier. I'll read that after then. I just want to see if anything was brought up in Manhattan. Let's see. Shooting in Harlem. Let's see what else we got. I mean, if it's Harlem, I really don't want to get into Harlem. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything else in Manhattan that much. Ah, okay, here's something sad. Cyclist struck by vehicle in Chinatown. Yikes, this is Midtown. 7 injured after vehicle smashes through an outdoor dining area. Okay, I'm just looking at anything else. Yep, and we have an anti-Asian attack that needs to be brought up too. So again, I'm just being careful to see what else I can read. Alright, so this is all I'm going to read from AM New York. Cyclist struck by vehicle in Chinatown. Okay, so this happened on Sunday, March 7th. Happened at Orchard Street and Canal Street. At 12:50 p.m., a woman was driving in a white Mercedes colliding into a man riding a bike where he received a bloody injury to his face. AM New York was on the scene indefinitely as officers and paramedics treated the man who was sitting up and responsive with his back against the construction barrier. The cyclist suffered what appeared to be a laceration to the left side of his face. Blood could be observed flowing profusely from the wound. Emergency services transported the victim to a nearby hospital. It is unknown if there are additional injuries. 2 female occupants were present in the vehicle, both of whom did not request medical treatment. AM New York observed witnesses telling officers that the woman driving in the car was not at fault. It is unknown if the construction barriers and fencing obstructed both the driver's view of the bicyclist as well as the bike rider's view. Officers from the 7th Precinct were on the scene to investigate and placed the victim's bike in the back of a cruiser. No woman was arrested. So I just want to make sure, right. So thankfully the woman did not leave the scene, which is good news. So this is not going to be issued a hit and run. That's good news at least. At least they question a suspect. And thankfully it looks like the woman who was in the Mercedes is not going to be charged, it looks like. Because again, she did stay on the scene. Now, here's something disturbing. 7 injured after van smashes through a midtown outdoor dining area. Okay, so this happened on March 5th, last Friday, at 8:37 in the morning. A van crashed into an outdoor dining space on 2nd Avenue and East 50th Street. Reports indicated the van smashed through the seating area of a Starbucks coffee shop as well as its nearby scaffolding and a bus stop. So we have two witnesses named Juan Carlos and Eloy Crispy. They were crossing the street when they saw a white vehicle, which they believe lost the ability to brake and rammed into another vehicle, narrowly missing the two men. Let me see if I can pull that one up in a second. They say if it wasn't for the car it hit, the vehicle would have slammed into them. I was waiting for the light and the car blocked it. He also noted that there were children crossing the street, but said thankfully the children were not injured. Wow, so it looks like this is from a vehicle from Mega Elevator Parts. So you can clearly tell, I know it's small, but it looks like this vehicle came from Long Island City. You know, probably on the way to a repair stop. Yeah, see that? This is, 2nd Avenue goes downtown. Because 3rd Avenue goes up, and then 1st Avenue goes uptown. Yikes. Okay, victims taken to local hospital for treatment of injuries. Thankfully, nothing life-threatening. So let's watch the video. Yeah, I don't have the audio on right now, but I can fix that in a second. I want you to hear from an eyewitness.
In the morning I saw a massive half-hour kind of, it looked like just color, very briefly, and I found out it was a truck going pretty fast down the street. A split second later I see the car spin out right around the corner. My first instinct was to kind of run outside and check on the Albans that we have, and they were okay, but it was just very surreal looking out and seeing like all of the seats in the middle of the street.
Your seats or the Starbucks seats?
No, the seats from Starbucks. Yeah, the seats from.
Do you see anybody injured?
No, I didn't immediately. I had to look for a second, but I didn't find anybody. Just a lot of people in shock.
Wait, how fast did you say the guy was going?
I don't know, maybe like 45.
And is this some of the outdoor dining that's now in front of Blank's? Like, is that from Great Fish Bar?
I think so. I think it's a mixture. I mean, I was looking through just to see if there was anybody that needed assistance, but I saw a little bit from everywhere. One of our benches was clipped by a car as well, and I think they took out a fruit stand at the end of the street.
What went through your mind when you saw this?
Well, I mean, I come from a first responder family, so my grandmother was an ER nurse, my dad was an EMT, so like I called 911 immediately, and then after that, just kind of checking to see if anybody was hurt. To see if I can identify them and point them out, you know, when people got here.
Did you see any injuries?
No, I did not.
No.
I personally did not see any injuries.
So emotionally, what went through your mind?
Emotionally, it pretty much was stable. It was. Oh, sorry.
What went through your mind?
It was not much. Just mainly looking for injuries, calling 911, giving them as many details as I could, trying to get them, you know, license plate where I thought the cars were. I'm very detail oriented in a crisis.
Did you see the driver of that white truck?
I didn't. I didn't see any of the drivers.
Okay.
I believe I saw the driver from this car here get out, and she was fine.
Could you just describe what it sounded like? What the sound was like when you first
It wasn't as loud as I thought it would be, given what happened.
Sure.
Because I think it happened down the street. I didn't think it was this bad in my first response.
So once again, that was a video that New York One did with the eyewitness of the incident. So again, just an awful story. And I will bring up 1010 wins. That it sounded like Roger Stern was doing the interview. So must have made his way over to the east side of Midtown, I guess. Oh, here we go. Crooks beat sanitation worker with blunt object in robbery in Brooklyn. Yikes. This happened, the area of Milford Street and Pickett Avenue. 1:40 p.m. on March 10th, two men working for the Department of Sanitation, aged 42 and 33, were in uniform and collecting garbage, and they were recycling on their route. They were approached by three unknown men. They exited a Chrysler 300 driven by another man. Suspects approached the 42-year-old employee and hit him through his body with a baseball bat and golf club. One of the suspects pulled out a knife when the group took the victim's cell phone. The 43-year-old employee, who was not injured, came to the victim's aid and was menaced by the suspects, who fled the scene in the red Chrysler 300. So we do have a video of the incident. So we'll play it as we go along here. Okay, anyone with information in regards to this incident can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS 8477 in Espanol 888-57-74782, which is Pista. You can also go on to the Crime Stoppers website. So I will bring up their website very quickly, which is www.nypdcrimestoppers.com. I don't know why the Crime Stoppers website is taking so long to load today. Yikes. I guess I'll close out of that. You can also go on Twitter at NYPDTips, and you can remain anonymous. So here we go with the latest anti-agent attack. So let's see where this happened. Chinatown! Well, that is just so low for these criminals. So this happened at 8:50 p.m. at the East Broadway station on the F line in East Broadway and Rutgers Street. According to police, the 56-year-old Asian man was walking into the station when the brute approached him and went on the attack. The suspect did not say a word to the victim before making his move. So, sadly, the man passed out after the brute punched the victim multiple times around the body. Then, the suspect got away. The victim suffered a head swelling, a black eye, and a lacerated lip. The victim was taken to a local hospital for injuries. So we do have a video of the incident. Well, a video of the suspect. Cops describe him as a black man. He is shown on the video wearing a navy blue baseball cap, a red bandana over his face, a gray and blue sweater, and sweatpants, while carrying a light blue jacket. So I guess we're now going to move on to stuff from Queens, and I don't really want to go on further that much, but I've been too fascinated with the fires, because again, Pine Power has brought it up in the past in Long Island, so I figured, since we're having similar fire issues in the 5 boroughs, you know, I might as well have talked about them. Oh, here's something disturbing in Howard Beach. Police find man dead with gunshot wound in the chest inside parked car. So this happened to a 57-year-old man. The NYPD got a call about an unidentified man inside the vehicle, which was parked at the corner of 95th Street and 156th Avenue at 3:30 in the morning, just today, March 12th. Investigators arrived to find the man with a gunshot wound to his chest, according to the NYPD. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police later discovered a gun believed to be one produced the bullet and killed the 57-year-old lying on the floor in the front passenger side of the vehicle. Witnesses said the car, which was running and had the air conditioning on, had been parked on the corner since Wednesday. Detectives are investigating whether or not the man's death was by suicide or homicide. So, a tow truck operator found the body. Wow, look at this. This isn't the only incident that's happened this week. A tow truck operator found the body of a 26-year-old male named Destiny Smoovers inside a truck of an abandoned sedan. Wow. And then look at this. This person was from upstate New York in the Troy, Schenectady, Albany area. Went missing while in Queens back November of last year. Wow. You know, the media would be all over this, but my goodness, 2 suspicious bodies found in Queens in one whole week in the same area. And the media doesn't even want to bother covering this. Wow. I am just completely shocked. Okay. And I'm going to go to shooting because that's just too much to get into. Oh, look at this. Another fire in St. Albans. Ah, there's so many fires that have been happening lately. So I don't want to make this too long, but, there's so much stuff going on lately. So, get to the last 2, and then I'm going to wrap up this video. 2-alarm fire inside St. Albans home. This places 7 people and a dog. So this happened on March 10th in St. Albans. Firefighters got a call about the place that had broken out of a 2-story private home at 173-12 93rd Street at 5:45 a.m. First responders arrived to find the fire had spread to the garage and 2 porches at the back of the home. The inferno prompted response from 106 FDNY members who got the flames under control at 7 a.m. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. A dog and 7 people were displaced. Yikes. So, I'm going to likely use this picture right here for the thumbnail. Because, you know, gotta talk about how serious this is, that nobody's really covering building fires anymore. Alright, so I will get to this last story, and you know how I always have to fascinate about Astoria, the once great neighborhood that people moved to for convenience to Manhattan. Well, guess what? A man burglarized 5 Astoria apartment buildings. So, just this isn't what we need right now. That's all I'm going to say. So, here we go. This has been going on now for this month alone. Here's the first incident. Monday, March 1st at 3:30 p.m., an unidentified man pried open the front of a multi-unit apartment building at 33rd Street and 28th Avenue. Once inside, the man stole a package that contained $100 worth of beard grooming products. A half hour later, the same man used the side door of a building located near 31st Street and 28th Road to break in and then steal 2 packages. One of the packages contained $100 worth of CBD oil, and the other contained a backpack valued at $60. Around 5:45 p.m. later in the afternoon, the man broke into the building at 29th Street and 31st Avenue. Once inside, he stole a $2,200 check one of the residents left in front of her apartment for the landlord to pay the rent for March. The woman canceled the check before the thief could cash it. The package burglar resumed where he had left off on Wednesday, March 3rd, when he broke into an apartment building at 18th Street and 27th Avenue at 1 p.m., according to police. This time, however, the man tried unsuccessfully to enter several apartments. When he couldn't get into any, he fled without taking any property. And then the last incident, the 5th and last one, at 4 p.m., the man made his way into an apartment building at 31st Drive and 28th Street. He successfully broke into a 29-year-old man's apartment and stole $150 in cash. So they have surveillance photo and a video of the man from 2 of the buildings he allegedly broke into. So we're going to quickly watch this video of the suspect. So it appears in this incident, the suspect was wearing a black winter hat with a black coat, and it appears the suspect was wearing a face mask, and it also appears the suspect has a beard and is a Caucasian male. So let me make sure. Yeah, this definitely looks like a black coat. Definitely a winter style one, if you ask me. Gee, that's the only flaw the NYPD really should be giving. At least give a description of the suspect. I mean, I did a better job of giving a description of the suspect. So I'm thinking this is probably a tall guy here. Maybe 5'9", 5'10" if you get lucky in that range. Alright, so I think with that, we're going to wrap up this video. I don't want to continue on much further, but once again, I'm very disturbed that the media hasn't been covering building fires lately. It's a big deal, you know? I mean, I care about this stuff, you know? And again, you know, not just in New York City, but there have been so many building fires yet alone in 2021 in Long Island that haven't been reported. And Pine Power LI has been doing a great job, you know, covering it in his neck of the woods. But, you know, in New York City, we have a similar problem with building fires too. So, in fact, I was going to wrap this up. I think there was an article that somebody might have given me about drag racing. Yeah, in fact, Channel 7 covered it the other day. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can Google it. ATV NYC. Yeah, here we go. I want to get to this because the drag racing in Queens has gotten out of hand, but this one apparently happened in Brooklyn. I thought I was going to wrap this up, but I forgot. I wanted to bring this one up before we ended it. Okay, so let me just turn off my my desktop audio. Okay. Dirt bikers and four-wheel ATVs illegally are cruising the streets of Upper Manhattan and the Bronx. Yikes. So, that's what happens when you're in the middle of a pandemic and people aren't driving. Newscaster 7 caught the swarms of riders in an absolute free-for-all wheelies along the Grand Concourse. The reckless driving continued into a park at the entrance of Mosholu Parkway, when one biker left his mark on the moist grass. A resident named Elizabeth Morales said, "I see a lot of them doing dangerous stunts, and it's very, very scary. This also creates other accidents." A forecast of near 70 degrees on Thursday has people in the Bronx ready for what's to come. Another unwanted symphony of bikes disrespecting traffic signals. Yikes. You know, this is what happens when, again, you're in the middle of a pandemic and people aren't outside. You know, I'm just going to say this right now. I really hope the president is correct that we're going to have all adults vaccinated in the summer, because people have got to start getting back to their lives. So, I'm definitely going to wrap it up from here. Thank you to Joy Jung for tipping me about this. He made me aware of it. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I was supposed to bring it up on the air. I almost forgot. So, thank you all very much for watching. Please stay safe out there. You know, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and, you know, please, if you witness a violent crime or you witness a fire, please just don't hesitate and just dial 911. It's all you can do in that situation. So, until the next one, please take care.